Okay, my name is Beverly Norton. I was first diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis when I was 18. Over a period of the next 15 years, I was diagnosed with lupus, scleroderma, Raynaud's, which they all lumped together and called mixed connective tissue disorder. I was born in 1951 in Darlinghurst, Sydney. Unbeknownst to everyone, I inherited a genetic disorder from my mother's side. I say unbeknownst because although my mother and my grandmother had a recorded history of similar symptoms to my own, they were not diagnosed at all until much later in life. With a compromised immune system, I was quite sickly as a child and endured the usual bouts of mumps, chickenpox, measles, along with severe bouts of bronchitis. However, by the time I started high school, I was living a relatively healthy, happy and normal life. When I left school at the age of 14 and 9 months, I started working at June Millinery in Parramatta, Sydney. It was there I was taught to make hats, wedding veils, bouquets and other bridal accessories. At 17, I branched out and started my own business, Beverly's Bridal Boutique, Blacktown. As the business grew over the next 2 years, I took the challenge to pursue the wholesale market, wholesaling to over 170 shops. During this time, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. In my spare time, I got married and fell pregnant, giving birth to a daughter on the 14th of November 1972. It was a dry breech birth. The doctors noticed I had a high level of antibodies in my blood, an early indication of an autoimmune disease. Times of high stress would often cause a deterioration in my health, and after my marriage ended, I was given another diagnosis of lupus. Over the years, this was followed by a further diagnosis of scleroderma, Raynaud's and vasculitis. And by the late 70s, I was having acupuncture, massage and nutrition. I managed to control my condition and live a relatively stress-free life. I believe through positive thinking, many of my symptoms went into remission, and right when I thought I had everything under control, life throws me another curveball. Hello, Sjogren syndrome. So I dyed my hair blonde and went to work for the local newspaper, followed by a stint as an insurance salesman. In 1997, I was featured in the My Business Success magazine, along with 4 others. The article was Back from the Brink, detailing how we were coming back from a devastating blow from our previous businesses. I then took on building up the Blacktown City Chamber of Commerce, and over a period of 5 years, I had built it up from a membership of just 35 to over 800, with 15 staff and receiving over $3 million worth of government funding. However, Sjogren's was a breeze compared to my next diagnosis of Sjogren's neuropathy, 3rd stage Sjogren's. It took a virus to take me down, and after 9 weeks in hospital, I came out in a wheelchair, and my daughter was told I would need constant care for the rest of my life. I was determined to prove the doctors wrong and reclaim some sort of normality of life. I moved to Byron Bay to spend my last days with my family and set about on the road to recovery. This was a turning point in my life. There was little more that the doctors could do and little amount of information that they had access to. So I dedicated my healing journey to educating others on Sjogren syndrome. I created a website and a newsletter, and through the website I get at least 15 hits a week of people that need information on Sjogren syndrome. I also give telephone support and email support, but the newsletter that I created is sent out to doctors, patients, carers and community groups. My goal is to set up support groups all around Australia, giving support to people with Sjogren syndrome, educating them on Sjogren's neuropathy and associated diseases, and also creating encouragement and support for people with Sjogren syndrome and giving them tips on how to cope on a daily basis.